Last few weeks, you might have noticed some unusual addiction stories. The lady addicted to eating bricks was in the paper, or the woman addicted to eating furniture polish.
Well, our next guest also has an addiction. She's addicted to eating sponges, but not the sort of sandwich together with jam and cream, but the sort you'd use in your bathroom.
Well, Nicole, who enjoys 180 sponges a year, joins us now along with Dr. Carol Cooper. Welcome both.
Welcome.
So, prior to 2007, how would you describe your diet?
Fine, I ate normally.
Normal food?
Yeah, everything normally.
And then
Never
in July...
had a craving for a sponge or anything.
No. July 2007, you were 17 and you fell pregnant. You said initially you were quite surprised because it was not something that you planned, although you engaged to your lovely partner now.
Yeah.
And we're going to meet your son in a bit. And the first 3 months of your pregnancy, you had terrible morning sickness.
Yeah.
And so how did that, sort of October time then after that, you say you started to get the oddest desire?
Yeah, I was attracted to the smell of sort of soap and was going in a bath all the time and sort of rubbing sponges on my face, and then it drew me to sort of put it in my mouth and chew it.
Yes.
So originally this smell, and I guess when you've got morning sickness, you sort of need something to break through that feeling. And so I can understand that the smell of soap is very fresh.
Yeah.
And it's almost like some people, when you feel sick anyway, you go, oh, think of lemons, and it sort of takes away that nausea feeling. And so it's kind of, is that what was happening but with the soap for you?
I'm not sure, it was just like...
It just was.
Was
yeah,
it a
maybe if
specific...
someone, like, people that smoke need a cigarette, and that's the way I was drawn to that.
Was it a specific sort of soap?
Palm olive soap.
Oh, it is that. It is
Pica,
that soap. Yeah, those sort of soaps. Any particular fragrance? You know, sort of lemony, or didn't really matter.
Sort of fresh smell.
So you go from that the smell of loving the smell of soap to tasting soap, and of course, many people of a certain age, the punishment used to be wash your mouth out with soap. You know, and it was a punishment, so it doesn't taste very nice. But it was something that you liked. Then you're rubbing it on the sponge. Then you're taking a bite of the sponge and chewing the sponge. So when was the first time you swallowed it?
Probably not even a month after I had been chewing the sponge. It's sort of like a chewing gum.
Yeah.
Like a fruity chewing gum. You can't help but swallow it. It's like that.
So when you swallowed it for the first time, did you sort of think, oh, I shouldn't probably have done that?
Yeah, I thought it was crazy, but it was good.
But it was good, so then you did it again and again, and it escalated to... How much sort of sponge were you eating a day?
When I was pregnant, it was more. It was more about one and a half sponges a day. And now it's more like half.
And now it's more like half. So were you concerned, though? Because obviously, you know, there's no nutritional value in a sponge.
Yeah. So
were you concerned that you were eating this and it might be causing some sort of damage to the baby?
Yeah, but that's when me and my fiancé, we went to the doctors and sort of said, I'm eating sponges.
Yeah.
And what did your fiancé say? Because originally you kept it away from him, didn't you? You kept it a secret.
And they noticed the wee bite marks at the sponges, and I was buying more sponges than usual.
So he'd get into the shower and see a sponge with a bite mark and think, must have mice. Funny mice.
You were eating ordinary food at the same time. You've always eaten ordinary food. This isn't an issue with food.
No.
This is just this attraction to that particular feel, and that look we've got to do. That's you actually doing it, and so you've likened it to smoking. It's something that you have the craving to do.
Yeah.
You go round to your mum's house, and you've actually got your own sponge over there to gnaw on.
Yeah.
You had a nightmare, didn't you, when you went on holiday?
Yeah. They don't have sponges like this.
Not like the sort of soft baby sponge. They have more of the kitchen
stuff with the green on the back of it, and me and my mum had
like a scouring pad.
Yeah. So me and my mum had to go round all the shops trying to find me a sponge.
And what does she say about it?
She thinks I'm crazy, but at the time I was pregnant, like heavily pregnant, and I needed it.
Yeah. I'm going to be, because obviously there's going to be people watching who are going to be thinking the question, so I've got to ask it, although it's fairly indiscreet. I mean, you know, a sponge is an unusual thing to eat and an unusual thing to swallow, and it is certainly later an unusual thing to have to get rid of. And so going to the loo must be a novel experience, I would have thought.
Go normally.
Just normally?
Yeah. Sometimes when I was eating more, it was harder.
Yes. But
now I'm okay.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
You'd never know. when you had the baby, John, this is your son, John. Did you think that it would go away then?
Well, it did for a month.
Oh, okay. So you
And
thought,
then
well,
started back again. Started getting the cravings again. I thought, oh God, I'm pregnant, but I wasn't.
And are you worried that he would pick it up?
He knows it. He knows it doesn't
Not the
taste
right
nice. He's tried it. He knows it's not nice.
Has he? Well, he actually spat it out and said, that's not
Yeah,
food.
well, he tells me off for doing it.
What is this?
Well, it's called Pica, and it's the urge to eat things that aren't actually foods. And the first thing I need to say is don't try this at home. And in fact, don't try this anywhere. Because, well, Nicole's been all right with it, as far as we can tell. If you eat things that aren't food, you risk harming yourself. And clearly, you know, we joked about the scouring pad. But actually, sponge can block the gut completely. If you eat enough of it, you could perforate or have an obstruction. And if you eat other things, you can get poisoned by them. We know that pica, the urge to nibble things like paint and plaster and so on, is a very big cause of lead poisoning. You can also pick up infections if you have the urge to eat soil. You can pick up all sorts of parasites, and you can literally die. So it's not something that you want to do. But having said that, a lot of women have strange cravings during pregnancy. It's
Well, eating coal.
Yes.
That's one,
yeah,
isn't it?
that's another one. And of course that can be laden with bacterial parasites as well. Not to mention stuff that will stop you from absorbing the nutrients in food. And in most cases, if you start during pregnancy, the craving goes away after you've had the baby. So Nicole is fairly unusual in the sense that it came back again.
Yeah.
and also with the soap. I mean, soap's got toxins in it, hasn't
It's
it?
very
So-
it's very bad for you. In fact, especially as small amounts can go down the wrong way and damage your lungs and give you pneumonia. And it can also damage your gut. I mean, soap is meant to dissolve fat, and it will dissolve parts of your bodies that are actually fat. You know, we're talking about things that are supposed to be kept on the outside of our bodies and have got on the inside. So it's obvious that there are huge risks.
Do you think you could stop? I mean, there's people that you said you liken it to smoking, and we know that smoking's bad for you, and so people, you know, try and stop doing that. I mean, do you think that if you sort of put your focus and energy into it, you'd be able to not eat it anymore?
Hopefully. It's not exactly normal, but it's hard.
Is it something
It's
that you
hard.
think about giving up?
Yeah.
You'd like to stop.
What advice
Yeah.
would you give?
Well, I would say see your GP, although I have to say
Have
that you're
been 3 times.
most unlikely to find a GP who's come across something exactly like this before. But quite often psychological therapies can help in a relatively short period of time. But of course, I'm talking generalities, and you know, this doesn't apply to everybody who's got pica. And of course, the other thing is if you've been eating certain kinds of things, you may need to be checked for nutritional problems that you've got as a result, or poison that you may have got as a result.
Well, thank you for coming in. I mean, it's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, it
We'd like to
really
meet
is.
your little boy, actually, because... Do you want to come in?
Here comes
Do you like to come in?
John.
Hi, John.
Hello.
Hi, John.
Do you know what I've got on?
What have you got on? A microphone?
Have you?
That's very clever. That's so we can
See,
all
come
hear
around,
what
come
you're
around
saying.
over here so we can see your face.
I want to say things about mommy. Look.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's very
Well,
clever.
on the telly, you have to have one of those. We've all got them. You see, look, I've got one, and
I've got
Holly's
one
got
here.
We have to have those, otherwise nobody will be able to hear you.
Otherwise, you have to shout really, really loudly so that everybody can hear you.
Yeah, so
I
there
think
you
you
go.
can shout.
Yeah.
I was talking about you
Were you?
with my mum.
Were you? Were you saying nice things, I hope? Oh, that's
What-
lucky.
What were you saying, John? Oh, you're saying, oh, she's lovely. Oh, Holly's lovely.
Does your daddy think she's lovely? Does he? Does he? Your daddy
Look
thinks
at
she's
those
lovely?
facial expressions. You should be an
You are the
actor.
cutest boy in the world.
Yeah.
How old are you, John? Are you
How old are you?
1, 2, 3?
3 years old.
Wow. Oh, well, it's lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you. Lovely
Thank
to meet
you
your
for
mum
coming
as
in.
well. Thank
Yes,
you for
nice
coming.
to meet you too.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right, after the break.